Hello world, Nikolai from Lantilab, and today I'd like to do a more detailed demo of a battle between the rebels and the Empire with much more forces and much more stakes. So I have here the booklet from the Imbalanced Factions Demo. So try to use those rules as much as possible, but we're gonna spice things a little bit and I'm gonna offer some suggestions which will be helpful to improving your experience. Okay, let's describe the setup. So I have here the 2 unit sheets, which I've cut in two so that they can be on each side. You can totally do that if you don't have 2 separate sheets. I have the battle damage bar in the middle. This is a custom accessory I have to make me manage complex battles in a very limited amount of space. I have here my dice tower, and we're gonna use this tablet to help us a little bit, and we'll see in a moment. So these are the exact forces. I've chosen the units mostly so I can either roll all the dice or influence dice on the other side up to the limit of 13 dice in total. So that's basically 1 and 1 and 2. So the 2 sides are roughly equal with a little bit of advantage to the Empire because of the Death Star. But the rebels do have the Death Star plans. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, instead of looking at this small battle step here, we're gonna choose that. I'm gonna place this here, and we're gonna use that superstar restore to keep track of things. And so, firstly, I will let's have a look at the leaders. So General Veers for the Empire, General Recon for the Rebels, and the first suggestion comes right here at the front. We did have these 2 symbols here, and they are not there by accident. There was actually here a suggestion, a hidden suggestion that I will describe now is, instead of using all units at the same time, the game is actually balanced if you activate units based on your tactical ability. And what I mean by that is, if we are doing a space battle and General Veers has 1 tactical skill for the space, he is able to activate 1 unit special abilities. And so how do we keep track of this? I have 3 suggestions. We can use damage tokens, we could use the loyalty symbols, or we could use, if you have these from Dawn of the Rebels box, maybe you have a few of them. These are the best since they have 2 colors, and I can mark space and ground units. So I'm gonna give 1 sort of space skill to General Veers and 3 ground skills. And I'm gonna give 1 space skill to General Recon and 2 ground skills. And so the first step is actually just to mark all the units that we're going to activate. This works similar to how you would choose advanced tactic cards. In this case, we're choosing tactic skills. So General Veers has the Death Star at his disposal, so he's going to place a marker here, and that's his only space marker. And for the ground units, he has more options, so he will choose the AT-AT, the AT-ST, and the Assault Tank. So those will be the special skills he will activate in combat, on the ground combat. For General Recon, he has a bit of a choice between the Nebulon B, which removes 2 dice, or between Home 1 Cruiser, which does remove 2 red or green dice. He's probably going to choose the Home 1 Cruiser. And for the ground, obviously the Ion Cannon, which has a lot of special skills, and the Shield Generator, which also can give reinforcements as well and flip dice. So that will be the choice. That's all public information. And now let's get to the actual combat. And first, here, before we even get to gathering the dice, we already have something to probably will have come up as a question, like, when do you activate the Death Star ability to bring 1 capital ship down to 0? And this works exactly like you have an advanced tactic card which will say deal X damage to unit. Like, this is an ability that directly applies damage. It doesn't require any dice, so we can immediately apply that ability. And so I'm going to remove this marker temporarily to indicate that I'm using this ability. And we'll take this ship, we'll just blast it to 0 health. And I'm going to return the marker now because I have another ability I can take advantage of later on from the Death Star, and that's the Scramble ability. Okay, so this is done for the space side. Now, the other important thing here is who's going to be attacking first and defending. You would expect, obviously, the Empire, they're attacking, but with advanced tactic cards, some cards do flip the order, and we do want to keep that ability somehow to be able to switch sides every now and then. And how about every turn? So I'm going to give General Veers 1 tactical skill for the space, and I'm going to give General Recon 1 tactical skills for the space. And we're going to do a simple skill check. The skill check is who gets to be the defender, and the position of the person who is defending is General Recon at the moment. So he needs to just roll equal number of successes as General Veers. So they're both sort of trying to be at the better position. Both roll, great hits, but since General Recon is just defending, he's able to, and as with any normal skill check, just keep his current, the status quo. Okay, so General Veers is attacking, General Recon is defending. Let's get to gathering all the dice. So starting with the Empire, I have the space combat. So let's start with the Star Destroyer. 2 red, 1 black. Then 2 green for the Interdictor. We have 3 TIE Fighters, so that's 3 black. 1 TIE Striker, 1 green. Assault Carrier, green and black. And we have 4 dice for the for Death Star, but we only have 2 left. So they'll get to roll all these dice. Now, before we do, we also need to account that some units do influence your number of dice, such as the Ion Cannon. That ability is retained, so the Ion Cannon reduces the number of red dice by 2. So I'm temporarily removing this. And then the other unit that actually can do that is the Home 1 Cruiser as well, so he also can remove, let's say, 2 dice. So yeah, the Empire roll is going to be a lot weaker because of these 2 units, and we can definitely remove that. Here I'm going to keep this one, since the Ion Cannon has another ability that can be used during ground combat. Okay, so now we are ready with the dice. I can just roll them here. And it's a pretty bad roll, but it is what it is. So we have 2 direct hits, and we just roll the dice. So what do we do now? We check if we have the ability to influence our own die through some sort of effect on our units, like the X-Wings and Y-Wings will have, but there is no such effect here among the units that we have activated. So only the Death Star has some remaining effect. So essentially there's nothing for the Empire to do here. And then we get to the leader roll. And so General Recon has 1 space ability. I'm going to re-roll, let's say, one of the black dice, because we have a lot of X-Wings and Y-Wings, and we want to make sure that at least one of them is hit. And there's no chance here. So, okay. So we have here 2 direct hits. I'm going to apply them both to the Mon Calamari Cruiser, just to make sure I can destroy this ship at the end of the first combat round. And so actually that was here a little bit before, so I'm going to bring this back just so we can go through this step by step. So do we have any skills that the opponent can influence our dice? There are such units on the Rebel side, but they haven't been activated. So the Rebel transport can do that. They can reroll dice. And so from the space units, these are the ones. So there's nothing here. We have remove damage step. There's nothing to remove. We're just attacking. So we're just assigning the damage. I'm going to assign these two to the Mon Calamari Cruiser. Bring its health to -2. Okay, so we're not going to destroy step. We're going to, again, at the beginning, since we are flipping the sides now, the Rebels will be defending. So let's gather their dice. We have Mon Calamari Cruiser, 2 red, 1 black. Nebulon B, 2 green. Corellian Corvette, black and red. 3 X-Wings, so 3 black. Y-Wing, red. And yeah, that's it. I'm keeping these here since technically the home 1 cruiser did take out 2 red dice. So essentially I'm counting these dice as dice that the rebels didn't win. They just influenced the empire not to win. Okay, so let's roll them up. Okay, and yeah, that's a pretty great result. And we go to next step. Do we have any ability to flip dice or to do anything else? There are such units, but we haven't activated them, so we skipping this step. We're going to leader swap for the rebels. So this is a new ability, tactical ability for the rebels. The game is asymmetric, so this is one aspect where I think it makes more sense, since the rebels are usually very objective focused. They don't need to win in terms of firepower. They just need to make sure that their firepower achieves a specific objective or result. So how does this work? We have two dice left in the dice pool. So the rebels can take, let's say, 1 black dice, and they can substitute 1, and this will cover their 1 tactical skill. So let's do that for the moment. And then we keep every other dice as it is. Is there anything that the opponent, in this case the Empire, can reroll or flip? No, there isn't. So we get to remove damage. We can remove 1 damage from the home 1 cruiser, but that's not going to be enough. And so we just need to make sure we apply now this damage to something that will be useful. So for example, if we want to make sure that the rebel cause survives, we probably want to take out the interdictor cruiser with these, so the rebels can potentially escape. And so we're going to do that. And the other thing we can do is we have 2 black hits for, let's say, 2 TIE fighters, so we can bring those to 0. And there is 1 more direct hit, so we could technically yeah, we could just kill maybe 1, bring the Star Destroyer down to 1 less. Okay, so all the damage has been assigned, and since this is the defender, then we can now go to destroy unit step. I'll just remove these dice. And what do we have? From the rebel side, we have the Mon Calamari cruisers going away. From the Imperial side, the interdictor and the 2 TIE fighters are going away. Okay, now on to scramble. So we are at the space step. So is there any units that can do scramble ability? Yes, the Death Star has a scramble ability. So I'll just remove this token, and I'm going to add 2 fighters that are scrambled from. Remember, this was to represent essentially our build queue. So this is build queue 1 here. That's why I have these units. And we can only take units from the build queue, not from the supply, when we're using scramble ability. Okay, now that's done. We can go back to the beginning. And here, instead of using the same guide, I'm going to use a new guide that I created, just so that I can add extra information and to do a minor suggestion where we're going to do the leader skills before the effects from our own dice. It's more natural. People are used to re-rolling their dice after the first roll, so this will be better. And so here's how the new battle step will look like. I'm going to just bring it here a bit closer. Essentially, we have more information at the beginning that we are assigning markers. Then we have to deal with the player order, apply any extra damage like from the Death Star. And then we are doing the tactical leader skills before we resolve any of our unit dice effects. That's the only major change. Just a couple of switches and some more information. And it's clear now that these steps here are all attacking steps, and they have to be completed twice for the attacker and for the defender. Okay, so we are here at the assigned markers. We have now completed the space combat. We are now into ground combat, but we actually have already assigned our markers in the previous turn. They're already here, so we can move on to player order. And here I will have 3 black dice for General Veer, since he has 3 tactical skills for the ground combat, and I'm going to have 2 for General Recon. We're going to roll these together and do a skill check. And wow, as unexpected, General Recon gets the better of it, and he gets to keep his defensive position and place the defender. So let's do that. Now, before we do this, there's actually something we forgot, and that was the Death Star. We've completed space combat, and so technically, after the space combat is complete, and we have done the scramble of units, then the rebels get to do a trench run on the Death Star. And so I have here the card, Death Star plans. So we have surviving fighters, we have the Death Star, we just take, let's say, 3 dice and we do a roll, and the rebels hope that they score a hit. And unfortunately, they do not this turn. So maybe next trench run where Luke will get to be the leader. Okay, let's get back to our player order. So we were just assessing who gets to be the attacker. Again, general views. Is there any damage to apply? There isn't such units such as the Death Star in the ground combat. We only have the AT-AT, which will scramble units, the AT-ST, which will roll additional die, and we have the assault tank. And here is a little bit of a conundrum. Like, do we count the extra die as a special ability, or do we count it as just additional die? And so I will vote on the fact that it is not a special ability. We just roll the die for the AT-AT, and the special ability is for the Stormtroopers, actually. So in order to take advantage of that, we can just mark this unit instead. Okay. So where we are, gathering, reducing, and rolling dice. We are with the Empire. Let's start with the AT-AT. So 2 red. Actually, it's 3 here, so let's take 3 red and 1 black. Gonna have red and black for the 2 AT-STs. We're gonna have 2 black for the 2 Stormtroopers and 1 green for the tank, and 2 more dice. So even if we keep this marker here, its situation is the same. I could just activate this ability to have additional die. So let's do that instead. So the error was correct. Okay, so we have all the dice, and I'm gonna mark this one away. Since we've already exhausted, I'm gonna keep these 2 since we do still have the scramble ability. Okay, time to roll the dice. Now, before we do, quickly, I just wanna check if the rebels are able to reduce the number of dice the Imperials roll by anything. So Ion Cannon, no, that reduces space dice. Shield Generator influences dice. So we have to keep track of that later, but for now we just roll these dice. Okay, that's a good starting point. Next, leader tactics. Now, we are doing this step first before we switch them around from the previous guide, just more natural. The Imperial player will naturally have a look at his roll and wants to re-roll, in this case, 3 additional die. So what do we have? We have a lot of great hits. So I'm just going to re-roll the red one. The other red one, we want to be focused on the big buildings, and let's say one of the black ones, just so we can clear as many troops as possible too. And oh, that's an amazing roll. Okay, General Veers obviously knows his ground stuff. Right, leader tactics done for the Empire. Resolve own unit dice effects. Do we have any unit dice effects to resolve? We do not. Move on. Resolve opponent unit dice effects. And here, General Recon activates the Shield Generator. So he gets to flip 1 black die. Let's say he gets to flip one of these to the opposite side. So essentially there's no direct hit. And he gets to flip 1 red to the opposite side. Again, the Empire doesn't have a use of the healing ability, so these are as good as blanks. So that one is now used. The only thing that remains is the scramble ability at the end of the round if the Shield Generator survives. Okay, removing damage step. There's no damage to remove. The Imperial player is the attacker. Assigning damage, so that's the fun part. Like, what do we want to destroy? We obviously want to destroy the Ion Cannon and the Shield Generator, ideally, so they are not able to scramble units or influence the space battle anymore. And so I'm gonna put, let's say, 4 on the ion cannon. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And maybe just take one of the air speeders to 0. And then we do 1 trooper. Yeah, it doesn't matter which one. I think let's do this one. Okay. Right, so all the damage is assigned exactly the same way as you would expect. Instead of going to destroy units, we first have to finish with the defender. In this case, the rebels. So for them, they have to check what they are rolling. So let's start with the 2 air speeders, 2 black, 2 red. We do have the golem arms turret. We do have the vanguard, the 2 troopers. The ion cannon doesn't roll, the shield generator doesn't roll. We already took dice for this one. And I think we are pretty much covered for the ground side. The reason I'm not rolling all dice is, again, the ion cannon gets to remove 2 dice and the shield generator gets to influence 1 black and 1 red dice. So I'm counting the rebels as essentially having the ability to roll all dice, just so that some of them are just not rolled, they are influenced on the other side. So they have a different philosophy of combat. Okay, lots of heals as expected. They are digging in to those trenches on hot, and so yeah, that's gonna work great for them. Leader tactics. Like, what do we do here? Like, we do have a nice dice pool of red dice if we need them. So technically, we could exchange up to 2 dice with red one. So I'm gonna need 1 more red here for sure. So this one will probably go on the airspeeder. These 3, I just need 2 of them to save the ion cannon. So I think what General Veers will do is he's going to use his 2 tactical skills to switch 2 black heals for 2 red heals. Yeah, okay. And that's gonna be his dice roll. So let's put all the dice we're gonna use here. Okay, do we have any of our own unit effects to resolve? And let's have a look. No, we do not. Like, if we had markers here with the on the rebel troopers, we could have flipped another die, or the rebel vanguard, but we do not have markers there. So the only thing left to resolve is the scramble ability at the end. Okay, do we have any opponent things to resolve? Again, we do not. The Empire is more focused on firepower than influencing dice. So removing damage, we can remove 2 from the ion cannon, gets to 1. We can remove 1 more for the air speeder, so it gets to survive. And now we have the ability to destroy 1 unit and to heal 1 more. So we're gonna heal the vanguard, and we're going to destroy the 80-80. So that's gonna be a great hit here. Okay. So that's all done. Assigned damage is done. We get to destroy units. So there's no units for the rebels that they lose. That was a great save by General Recon. So we get to destroy 1 80-80 on the Imperial side. And now we essentially do scramble ability. So what is left? I have the ion cannon, which can scramble 2 fighters. So I have here, let's say, an X-wing and a Y-wing. And I have the shield generator, also able to scramble 2 fighters. So we have a little bit more ground force now coming out of our encampment to defend the base of Hoth, or whatever the rebel base is. And this is basically how it works. We do this until this is resolved, but we essentially completed 1 full space combat and 1 full ground combat. We use the leader's tactical ability to mark specific units so it doesn't get overwhelming in terms of what you need to do. Just check where your markers are, activate them at the corresponding step. And I hope you found this now useful. So there's a couple more things. This same update For the battle step is available both for Rise of the Empire and for Imbalanced Factions. And if you look at it, it's exactly the same now. The only difference is the last step. For Imbalanced Factions, we have a scramble. The rest is essentially the same. It just says unit instead of a card. And here it says card. And we just have one extra step, so it will be a really easy transition. And it will help in the future combine these two so that you can use both tactic cards and tactical abilities, which is the whole point of this expansion, to expand what you can do by first introducing a new step instead of the old one, and then merging them in the future. Okay, now in terms of file updates, I'm gonna send each person who bought this a file with an updated version of the page in the booklet and an updated thing that they can print and wrap around their sheet. Now, if you want, in any future order, I will include a sticker to essentially do the same thing, so you don't have to print anything. But I'll make these available so that you can use them right now as reference for your games. And in the future, I can always supply the supplemental sticker that you can correct your information or update it. And in terms of tokens, I had suggestions what to use. You can use your system tokens, you can use your damage tokens, you can use these leader stands, you can use anything else you want, but I will include peelable stickers that you can apply on the back of your damage tokens that will visually have Imperial or Rebel colors and ground or space arena, so that's very easy to figure out where they go and which ones to activate first. Okay, so what am I doing right now? I'm still doing quality control on all the units, making sure that I have all the ability balanced, explained clearly. And so just to illustrate, here's the example of the Death Star under construction. The original ability was 1 capital ship health to 0. I have now rephrased it slightly different. Deal, and that's a keyword here, 3 damage to 1 opponent's capital ship in. There is a special symbol here. The symbol is a triangle inside a circle, inside a square, which are the 3 shapes of units, inside the hexagon, which is a system. And this means capital ship in this unit system. I need this sort of pictogram, as this phrase, this unit system, is used in many units. So I'm going to use this to shorten this 3-word sort of abbreviation. And this will be better explained. And so I have similar sort of quality. Even things like the corner radius of certain things and thickness of lines has been updated. So I have to really go through a lot of elements to make sure that they're perfect before I make any production quality material. And yeah, I have a lot of units here. There's a lot of things to talk about, but I'll just focus on the one that matters to people who purchase this. So I hope this guide was helpful. And if you have any questions, send me a direct message, or you can leave them in the video. And that was all for me today. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the product.